Hey guys, I'm back today. So, welcome to another episode of our Chic Women series. This is one that I've been really excited about talking about for a while. We're going to talk about that woman that can make anything look effortless. She just lives her life with style, with grace, with elegance. The one that no matter what situation she's in, it seems like she has it easier, even though she may not, and many times, but it almost always appears that way because she just floats through life gracefully and elegantly. So welcome. If you guys are joining us for the live chat, I would love to hear your comments. So you can comment in the chat box underneath if you're on your mobile device. Give this video a thumbs up. If you're joining us, say hello and let us know that you're here. I do these videos live so that I can interact with you guys and talk with you guys in real time. So definitely let me know. Hi, Universal Journey. Oh, awesome. Happy birthday, Universal Journey. That's awesome that you're joining us on your birthday. Lexi Sexy said, hi, glad to see this chat. Your hair looks great. Oh, thank you. Yes, Habibi, thank you so much. Yes, I totally forgot, but yes, I got my hair done. So thank you so much for noticing. I was going to mention it and then it totally escaped my mind, but thank you so much. So in my own life, I've experienced this many times that even when I thought I was going through a lot in my life and just overwhelmed and feeling like, oh my God, like my world was just caving in, I would have friends that would say to me, oh, you have it so easy, and like if I only had this situation that, and literally I've had people say that to me in my life when I felt like I was like the most overwhelmed and out of control. And it happened enough in very many different situations where I almost would get offended. And I did a video on this a long time ago where when I was a single mom and working full-time, going to school full-time, dealing with my son and everything else that comes with, getting a divorce and all of those things, life, my friends who were married or single or whatever situations, but situations that I didn't feel were even comparable to mine, would say things like, oh, you're so lucky, but you have it so easy. And I really didn't understand this. And then later on, when I got remarried, some of those same friends were saying, well, you're so lucky you have it so easy. And so I've always had that happen to me where people thought no matter what situation I was in, I always had it easy and they had it tougher on them. And I was talking to my best friend a couple of years ago. That's when I did the video. And I was discussing this with her on how I was almost annoyed at this because I felt like people were undermining all of my hard work and all of the things I had been through in my life by saying those comments. And she said, well, I know what it is. And I said, you do? Tell me right now because I find it really annoying. And she said, it's because you never complain. And she's like, I'm your best friend, so I know you're going through a lot. And I imagine you're going through a lot, but she's like, you make things look very effortless. And I really had to let that sink in for a while because she said that even before she had kids, my kids are a lot older than hers, she thought that I made it look really easy. And that when she had her children, she was really struggling because she said, you never told me it was so hard and you never shared that. And my defense for not discussing those things with her was, well, she didn't have any kids at that time. And kids are hard work, but they're my pride and joy. Like, I love my children and I feel I consider it a blessing. So why am I going to sit around and complain about the things that go into child rearing, if that makes sense? So I wanted to kind of, over time, I've met many other women that, knowing their situation, you expect that they are going through a lot of things, but they just seem to grace through life. And then there's other people that obviously have a lot to be grateful for. They have a lot to be appreciative of. I'm not saying they have perfect lives, but they have a lot of things they should be grateful for, yet they complain all the time. They complain all the time about all the little things that bother them, all the little things that they have to deal with. Hi, we've got a full house today. Thank you guys for the compliments. Thanks guys. I'm so glad you guys like my new hairdo. Yes, Soraya, Gayatri, Gijra, all of you guys, Caitlin, Asima, so happy that you guys are here and thank you for all the lovely compliments. So my number one would be that don't complain. I know that every once in a while we all need that listening ear. We need that one person that we can kind of drop it all off on, right? I have those people, believe it or not. I have a couple people that are my trusted advisors that I go to when I need to just, have that moment of just, oh my God, this happened to me, or this person said this. But it's only a few people, and I don't take advantage of it. I don't do it all the time. I don't want to get in the habit of doing that. And also, I have chosen these people very carefully, because these are the type of people that will listen to me and then they will snap me right out of it. They will say, okay, your pity party is over. Yes, I get it, it's hard, but that's life. And so I like that about these people, is that they're not going to let me just sit there forever, and they're not going to kind of feed that and encourage that behavior, because we all have those moments where we want to complain. But guess what? Everybody has it hard out there at one point or another. Everybody's dealing the same things that we're dealing with. The traffic is bad. I know work sucks. Family, child rearing, husbands, all of these things take a lot of effort. They do, for everybody. But some people just make it look effortless because you don't hear everything that happens inside their house. They're not posting every little thing that happens on Facebook and other social media. And that's why when we look from the outside, and you've heard me say before that we're comparing our insides with other people's outsides. It's because if they're the kind of people that are not showcasing everything bad that's happening, everything bad that's happening with you. You're overwhelmed. Your job sucks. Your husband and you fight sometimes. Your children aren't the best behaved. All those things. You're comparing all the information, the insider know-how about your life with somebody's perfectly crafted, effortless style that they're posting. And I think on some level that's good, because if you look at it in the right way, it can inspire you not to complain. Now, a lot of times what happens is this Joneses effect, where you think, oh, everybody else has it perfect and I have it miserable. That's the wrong way of looking at it. If I see people that appear seemingly perfect to me, where you're just like, wow, like everything is effortless for them, that's easy, I don't see it as that they're hiding something. I look at it as that maybe they have chosen to focus on the positive and live their life with grace. And maybe I can learn something from that, and maybe not share everything, or not always focusing on the negative, if that makes sense. Another one, a number two one that I'll like to say, of people that live their life with grace and elegance, and they are effortless in their everyday life, is that they aren't trying to be somebody else. They know their strengths and weaknesses. They know their budgets. They know their lifestyles, and they're competing only with themselves. So let's break that down a little bit. Dhruv said, good advice. People complain a lot about having kids. They do, and then you wonder, it's like, but you have your kid, like you had them, they're your pride and joy, but you complain about every little detail, like you're the only one going through it. Like, I have to deal with everything that other mothers have to deal with too. Every mother deals with basically the same things, but it's your perspective, like how you're looking at it. I consider it a blessing, every little thing. Like, it's not that I don't get overwhelmed. I do get overwhelmed, but I also keep in perspective that they're only young so much, like so little of their life, right? Like, it's just one little season, and then that's it. My oldest one turns 13 this year. I can't even believe it. I feel like he was born yesterday. So it's a very small portion of my life, and what a blessing to have, and what an honor. So yeah, I don't understand people constantly complaining about their children. So let's break down the second one, that we're saying that they're not trying to be somebody else. And what I mean by that is that know who you are, know your strengths. Like, I'm not trying to be a rock star, because I know that that's not me. I'm not trying to be one of those moms that has a amazingly social life that's going out every night, because that's just not my personality. I rather spend a lot more time inside. So I know that about myself. The reason I'm saying this is because I see a lot of times people trying to be somebody else because social media may make something seem exciting, and then when you actually do those things, you're like, okay, this isn't fun. This is stressful for me. It may be fun for other people, but this just does not fit my personality. And that's okay, because my personality is something different, and I can make something else look elegant and effortless. That other thing that somebody else is doing may just not be me, and that's okay. Don't try to do it all. It's that whole fear of missing out. I did a video on this a little while ago too, of that we have this thing of that we have to do everything everybody else is doing on social media, or we're missing out on something on life. But that's their life. You live your life. Don't try to be something else. Same thing with budgets. I see people spending money on the most ridiculous things all around me, and it's not that they have the money. I'm talking about people that I personally know that complain about not having enough money to buy groceries at the end of the month, buying thousands of dollars worth of photography photo shoots, buying ridiculous spa packages. So it's like when their husbands get paid, it's like party mode. They are like, they would make Kim Kardashian blush with the lifestyle that they have. And by the end of the month, I hear them complaining about not having gas money and grocery money. So that's like a very drastic up and down to have within a month. You have to have a little bit more balance, and that's not effortless living, that's not graceful living, that's not elegant at all, because you know that you're not supposed to be spending that money. And I can't imagine that you're not stressed out when you're spending it, because you know you're going to be in the same situation at the end of the month. These are people that I personally know. It's not even people that I've it's not stories that I've heard. It just shocks me, because we don't live like 1/3 of the lifestyle that I see some of these other people living, and then they're complaining about not having groceries for their babies, and I just can't even imagine. So live your own life, live your own budget, and live your own lifestyle. Same thing, like if I wanted to go and become this like party mommy with young children, it's not gonna work. First of all, that's not me. And secondly, it's not the season of life that I'm in right now. Now, I have friends that are older, in their 50s and 60s, and they have children that are fully grown, out of the house, they have their own families, and they get together with a group of girls and their own age, and they'll go out and they'll go do dinner and drinks, and they'll go do really fun stuff. If that is you, that's the season of life to do that in. And I really admire that, because they chose like the perfect timing for themselves to go and do that. Kids are out of the house, they've managed and did everything that they needed to do, and now they're living the elegant, effortless style in the season that they're in the budget that they're in, if that makes sense. Now I see that and I admire that, but I'm not there yet, right? That's not even my personality yet. I need to stick within the season I am in right now, which is I have young children, and I need to do as much as I can do effortlessly and not overwhelm myself or overwhelm my family or my responsibilities, because that does not look graceful to anybody. Jenna, hi, happy to have you. Yes, I've missed you. Where have you been? My friend Jenna Rogers is here. She vlogs about weight loss and her journey with food and fitness and stuff. So you guys need to check out her channel. I'm so glad that you're back. Caitlin said, yes, it's exactly what they say with the marshmallow test. Kids who had the ability to wait to get the second marshmallow were more successful later in life. I think I've seen that. Did they do that with chocolate as well? Was it with marshmallow only? I've seen that test where they were watching the kids and they did that. Is that what you're talking about? Jenna said, hearing you talk about people not being smart with their money makes me think that someone forgot to teach some of us how to adult. And Jenna, I totally get it. I did not learn how to adult in that way much later in life too. So I learned very poor money habits from my parents. I've said this a million times, they were immigrants to this country and they were amazing at making money, but they were horrible at keeping it. It was like money burned a hole in their pocket. Like they would just go out and spend it, give it to their relatives, their families, and it was just out as quickly as possible. And so I just learned that that's just how you live. Like the word save did not exist in my vocabulary until in my 30s. So sometimes we have to learn later in life, and that's okay. But when you learn, one of my clients actually told me this saying, and I love it. She says, when you know better, you do better, right? And that's just what it is. So when I see people that are younger than me or even my age making those mistakes, I just want to shake them and tell them, but it's not my place. They're not asking for my advice, they're not asking for my opinion, and so I need to let them make those mistakes. But I've reversed the cycle in my family, and I'm teaching my children. Just like I wish somebody had taught me these things when I was younger. So number 3 habit of which is kind of funny because it is about habits, about effortless and graceful living, is that graceful, elegant women or men, people have habits, systems, rituals that they have cultivated over time that really get them through. So something that I've been doing for, let's say, 10 years is going to look effortless to you. Even if it is a difficult task, if I've been doing it for 10 years, it's going to seem somewhat effortless. You know those women that are a hot mess at home, and then you see them like in their jobs, they could be like this high-powered executive, this attorney, this doctor, rocket scientist, and they are like killing it, they're rocking it, and you're just like, wow, this person is a rock star in their job, but they suck at home. Or you see somebody that would not make a good doctor, me, or like a high-powered executive, but they rock it at whatever else that they're doing. It's just because they've taken the time to cultivate that over time. It's like second skin, second nature. And that's why I say that the things that you want to be good at, the things that you want to be known for, do them daily. Practice in private. Don't just do them occasionally, sometimes when people are watching. People can tell something that you've been doing for a long time versus something that you're kind of shaky at. It's just like if one woman has been wearing heels for 20 years and another woman just puts them on sometimes, once in a while, and they're walking, you will know the woman that lives in her heels versus the one that wears them for weddings. I give that example, it's a silly one, but you know what I'm talking about. The people that live the way that they want to live and the way that they want to be known every single day, even when nobody's watching. They shave their legs in the winter even when nobody's going to be feeling them, right? Or nobody's going to be seeing them. That's what I'm talking about. So if you want to be known for beauty, you want to be known for healthy living, if you want to be known for your patience or the fact that your communication skills are great, practice those things every day. So don't curse at home and then speak politely in public, because eventually those curse words will slip out of your mouth. I've seen this happen to so many people inappropriately, where they're trying very hard to be polite and very like put together, and then all of a sudden like they just drop the F-bomb or something. And it's because they probably do that all the time. They do it at home, and they can't pretend because they're part of their regular vocabulary. So you're not fooling anybody. So if whatever you want to be known for, whatever you want to cultivate, work on it all the time. Work on it when nobody's watching, so that when somebody is watching, you're better at it. You're easing into making that your second skin. Jenna said, yes, I'm in the beginning stages of building those routines now. I can't wait until they are effortless. Routines also make it easier to get back on the wagon when you have a backslide. So true, Jenna. This is one of those questions that I get asked a lot when I go on vacation. People ask me, well, how do you get back into your fitness routine? How do you get back into your diet routine? It's because, let's say that I go on vacation on Friday, and from Friday to Tuesday, I've like totally bombed everything. I didn't work out. I ate really badly. I know what I do usually on Wednesdays. I know what my fitness routine is. It's written on my gym wall, right? I know what I eat on Wednesdays. So when I come back on Wednesday, I don't have to say, okay, where do I start? I just say, okay, Wednesday workout. That's what we're doing today. Wednesday, this is what I eat. That's what I'm eating. So there's no like guessing. And it's so much easier to fall back into it. Now, if I'm just winging it, we're like, oh, it's Wednesday. I don't know. Sometimes I work out. Sometimes I don't work out. I don't know. Sometimes I order in and sometimes I meal prep. It's going to be really hard to get back into it because you're not going to feel like it. So having these habits and systems and rituals is so important. I cannot stress it enough. Also, being realistic with your habits and rituals and systems. Don't overcomplicate things with your systems. I see this a lot with newer clients when they first come in, and we start building routines, or we'll start building a system for them for managing their money or managing their household or their children and different things, or everything sometimes. They're like, well, what do I do with all those binders? And they've got like a stack of binders that they have. And life is not a manual, right? Like we weren't born with manuals. Our children weren't born with think about it. When you're in the middle of like being overwhelmed, you're anxious, like things are falling apart, you're not going to dig through a pile of binders and go to page 84 to see what am I supposed to do when I'm about to smack somebody. Like it's not going to work that way. You need to have like a system that you have built and cultivated at a routine that can help you snap out of those overwhelmed situations, or when the dishes have piled up, you're not going to go and look in page 83 like, okay, what do I do when my dishes have piled up? It needs to be effortless. It really needs to be. You can't make it something so unrealistic and so like unnatural that your kids think you're nuts. Like they're not going to go consult some binder. Your husband's thinking that you've got some unrealistic ritual going on here, that you need to go buy a book, like it's 2:00, like it has to be. That's why when I talk about rituals and routines, I talk about I have triggers over timings, because sometimes, guess what? Something that I was supposed to generally do at 2, it's 3:00 and my toddler is throwing a tantrum and I haven't gotten to it. So I need a trigger, which is a much more reliable cue for me than a time, because of the season that I'm in my life. And I've done a ton of videos on that, so if you guys are not sure what I'm talking about, you can check out my routine videos where I talk about having triggers for certain things that lead to you doing other behavior, and that's how you systematically do it. It's not even going to be overnight. I know so many people that will say, okay, this is going to be my routine. They write down a routine, they make a binder for it, or put it on their phone, and then they're like, well, tomorrow or the next day or a week later, they're like, well, I'm not doing it anymore. Like, why not? It's, oh, I forgot to check my phone, or I didn't check my binder, or I just stopped doing it. It's not going to become second skin or second nature in a week. There's things that I've been doing for 5 years that I still look over my shoulder. Like, are you sure you're not going to forget this? Because sometimes it takes a while, because you've let yourself down so many times in some things. It takes a while to build trust in yourself. And I'll give you an example of this. Fitness for me, I have passed my official 2-year fitness anniversary. So I have officially consistently been working out for 2 years, longer than 2 years. But I still have those moments. If I miss a day, I still am like, Mina, you better not let this go. Like, you can't do this. And even though like it's been 2 years, you would think it's second skin for me. It is. I just routinely do it. I don't have to think about it. But I still remind myself that, listen, you can't get comfortable. It took you a long time to make this a routine. It took you a long time to make this a habit. So I'm always like, like, hey, you missed a day. Like, like, girl, keep on it. So you have to do that with yourself. It's not like you're just going to wake up magically, but just because you wrote it down, now you should just know it. It doesn't work. Life just doesn't work that way. Everything takes effort on a daily basis. You have to put effort into things. So I wish it was like, yay, like I've been doing it for 2 years. Like I can just be like, I could just not worry about doing it for a week. No, I still don't trust myself. If I missed a week, I'd flip out on myself, because I've had that pattern. In the longest I've ever done it before consistently was with a trainer for a year, but my mind wasn't in it. I've said this to you guys before. I would just go in there and do what the trainer told me to do, and there was like no mind-body connection. There was no like progress. Like I just wasn't into it. So that's why even things that become habits, you want to reevaluate your feelings about them. You want to still be on your A game and be like, you missed 2 days in a row. This might just as easily be undone a habit as it became one. Hi Poonam, she said, happy to catch you. I'm happy that you're here. Asma said, it's like the story you once told about your cousins, that one of them knew their way around the kitchen. Yes, my twin cousins. I love that story, because I think about that often when I'm trying to, we all have those moments where we feel inspired by something. Like if I see something inspiring that somebody's doing and I'm like, ooh, I never thought that I would want to do that, right? And I look at it, I'm thinking, okay, I want to cultivate this in me. And so I will never like try to do it in front of somebody before I've practiced for a gazillion times in private, because I know that look where I've even talked about it, like, how like if you see a really fun mom that's like playing with her kids, like she's rolling around the mud, and that's not you. Let's say you don't roll around in the mud. and then you try to do that next day with your kids out in like on a play date with other people, your kids will look at you like you're nuts. They will give away your secret that that's not typically you. And that's why I say, like, don't pretend to be somebody else. Like, you have to make that your thing. If you're gonna make that your thing, by all means do so, but practice in private and cultivate it and own it, and then debut and then come out with it. Don't be that awkward person that your children are like, what happened to mom? Like, who the hell are you? Because they give you away. Let's see. Thank you, Poonam. Yes, I did get a haircut and a color today. Thank you for noticing. You guys are so sweet. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Caitlin said, this is my issue. I'll do something for 2 to 3 weeks and one day I just stop. It took me years to realize it's cycle related. And in 2 to 3 weeks is not enough time for it to even be a habit, right? And with things especially that you have been known to not be able to maintain, those things especially, always question yourself. It's just like with me and my fitness. Even though you would think I would trust myself 110% because I've been doing it for 2 years, if I still miss a day, I tell myself, hey, girlfriend, get it together. Like, it's okay you missed a day today, but tomorrow you better be on your game. So because it's too valuable to me to, you know, not second guess myself in that. So another one that I want to share with you guys, so we talked about they don't complain, they aren't trying to be somebody else, they have their strengths and weaknesses that they work through, they have their own budgets, their own lifestyle, they're competing with only themselves. The third one was people that live effortlessly have habits, systems, rituals that they have cultivated over time, and they practice in private so that they can showcase in public. Number 4 is kind of along those same lines, similar, is they have capsules for everything. So I've talked about having a capsule wardrobe. I've talked about having a capsule hairstyle or a capsule makeup, routine and makeup, so that you're not digging through 200 lipsticks to find that perfect one that you always wear anyways. And you're not digging through 300 items of clothing to wear that same outfit that you wear all the time. You eliminate decision fatigue, basically. I can do a whole video on that. I talked about that in my book, actually, about decision fatigue. It's a real thing, and it's one that if you study a lot of the famous entrepreneurs and successful business owners of our time, I mean, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, all these people, they have eliminated as many mundane decision-making tasks daily as they can. They wear the same things every day. They eat the same thing for breakfast. They have routines because studies have shown that every small decision that you make from the minute that you wake up until the minute that you sit down at your desk to work has already depleted your energy. So if you made 200 decisions before the time you actually sat down to work, you're already exhausted and you can't make your best decisions at that point. So if you had to spend 15 minutes deciding what you wear, you don't know what you're gonna have for breakfast, you can't find your car keys, you don't know if your kids are dressed, what they're eating for breakfast, you're going to pack for lunch, that's a bunch of decisions right there. So if you don't have capsules for all of these things, you have exhausted yourself beyond belief before you actually came to work. So what are you going to deliver at work? And then by the time you get through your work day, you've made another 300 decisions with people watching you, looking over your shoulder. And then you get home and then you don't know what you need to do for dinner. You have to have some systems in place. I know they're annoying to get started. They take work. It's not going to be easy. But once you make those things a habit and you have automated systems, life becomes so much easier because you don't deal with that daily decision fatigue. I don't have to worry about what I'm wearing because I wear the same thing every day. I wear the same makeup look. I know what everybody's eating for breakfast because it's Tuesday and this is what we eat for Tuesday. You get the gist of that? I've actually even done, so you guys know I used to do those monthly meal prep videos, and I've actually changed that to Sunday meal prepping for everybody. And we've got it down to a capsule meal prep where we cook like one thing from each category. So we'll have like one meat item and one seafood item, one lentil item. And I need to do a whole video on that for you guys because it's been working out amazingly. We've been doing it for a few weeks now. And actually we started in May, so I think it's more than a few weeks, but it's been going amazing because I cook Sunday, I meal prep for everybody, and I don't have to worry about breakfast, lunch, and dinner for at least like 4 or 5 days. It just makes life so much easier. We know, okay, you grab, rice with this thing one day, and I will meal prep for myself separately. Sometimes I'm overlapping, but mine is grain free, and I don't have to think about it. Because if I have to stand in front of the refrigerator going, what am I supposed to be eating today? And the only things that are available are things I'm not supposed to be eating. Guess what's gonna happen? I'll end up grabbing that stuff, and that's, it's gonna derail my entire health, my plan, like my fitness, everything. So you have to have little systems, a capsule meal plan even. Make things routine and habits. And you can, a lot of times people say, oh, well, that's not exciting, or that's not fun, or that's not spontaneous. You can be more spontaneous and more fun when you get the mundane tasks on autopilot. I don't think that I don't have a fun look just because I have a capsule makeup look and I have a capsule wardrobe. I actually think I'm able to have more fun with my look now because I'm getting dressed every day, because I'm not stressed out what I have to wear. I'm not stressed out about things not fitting me. I'm not stressed out about things not making me look a certain way or feel a certain way. Everything fits, everything flatters. That's more fun to me. Same thing with food. If you are planning and buying according to that, last week we had a different fish. So this week, Sunday, when we meal prepped, Irfan's like, well, we got to try a different fish. That to me is more fun because it's like planned out. We go shopping accordingly. It's easy. We cook together. We meal prep together. Everything has a system. The kids are not asking me in the morning, what are we having for breakfast? It's all like ready. It's ready to go. It's like there's a system. You have to do that for you guys. Whether you work from home or work outside the home, whatever you're doing, take it easy on yourself. Automate all of these things so that you can have more fun and your life can literally be effortless. Hi, Stephanie. She said, you look gorgeous. Thank you. Love the cut. Did you dye your hair as well? I had my girl Janan do it. My friend Janan is a hairstylist, and I do my touch-ups and all that stuff myself, but I really needed a bigger change at this time. So she did my hair. I absolutely love it. She knows me really, really well, like my personality and we've been friends for years. So she really gets me. And so I was having a hard time painting the picture for her, but she just did it. So it was amazing. Thank you, Janan. I absolutely love it. So thank you guys for noticing. Neelam said, thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. Okay, thank you. Habibi said, please do a video on your capsule meal prep. Yes, I'm loving this because one thing that I kept complaining to my family was I eat a lot of veggies. You guys, if you follow me on Instagram, you see my plates that I post on there. But I feel like no matter how hard I work on this, my family, like they'll eat veggies a lot for 1 week and then they start slacking off. So I've like made them a capsule now. I'm like, you're only allowed to have this much seafood, this much meat, and then we're gonna somehow incorporate all of these veggies. So that's why having a capsule works, because it's like I'm giving them a choice but not giving them a choice, if that makes sense. Like so one of the category is vegetables, so they get to choose the vegetables. So it's like, okay, they have control, but the category is in there, so they have to choose something. Does that make sense? So versus if I just said, okay, what am I cooking? Of course they're going to choose things that don't have the vegetables, if that makes sense. So I gave them like I allotted different meals. Like you have to have one seafood, one this, one that. And so it's been going really good. I wanted to try it out long enough for myself first and see how it worked for me before sharing it with you guys. But it's been working really great, so we will definitely share it with you guys. And we do this every Sunday. So Sunday, it's like we get people asking us, making plans. Like Sunday, we're busy. So if we have morning plans, like we set 3 or 4 hours aside for ourselves for shopping and meal prepping. And then Fran and I do it together, so it does go a lot faster. But you need to do that for yourself. It makes life so much easier. You have to. I love that. Liza said, organize, prioritize, simplify, plan, and consistency. Love that. Yes, I think you just summed up the whole video. Love, love, love that. As a sixth one, I think, did I say, I said 5, right? Which was capsules for everything, food, clothing, makeup, accessories. 6 is let me go back to capsules. Even the activities that I do for my kids, I have little capsules for them. So we know, over the years, we've learned what activities we enjoy doing over the summer and which activities we don't enjoy doing. For example, it gets really hot here. I live in Houston in the afternoon, so my kids don't want to do anything in the hot sun in the afternoon, like the park or the pool where the sun is full blazing, because my middle child he's very heat sensitive. So okay, we're not going to plan anything during that time, and we get invited to play dates all the time in the middle of the afternoon, and I just said, you guys know I don't do anything from this hours that's outdoors. And then they said they can choose for Uno, like a pool time, zoo, museum, like they know their options, and we'll rotate them. And that's where you give them a choice, but then they're choosing from a set number of things that you have cultivated, so that they're not choosing something you don't want to do, right? Or they're not choosing something that's out of your budget, or they're not choosing something that makes you drive 2 hours. So you give them a choice and make it fun for them, but it's from a systematic number of choices. And so do it with everything, even activities, because then if there's 6 things that they can choose from, and those are all 6 things that you chose, so it's not like you're dreading any of them either. Number 6 one, making things effortless, is to seek your own appreciation and approval versus other people's. I talked about this in another video. You really have to focus on this, because seeking somebody else's, I know we all have that need for appreciation from others. It's a human need for love and affection and appreciation. But if you are only focused on that, and that's the only thing that fulfills you, you're going to be disappointed. Because let me tell you, no matter how fabulous you are, or no matter what you've achieved in your life, at any given point in your life, there's going to be some people that are disappointed in whatever choices you've made. There could be 2 people that are excited and 10 that are disappointed, and then 10 that are excited and 2. Somebody will always be disappointed, because you can't live somebody's ideal version of you. You can only live your own life. So that's why I ask myself this question whenever I make a decision, or I'm conflicted about something, or about to make a change. How will I feel about this? Will I appreciate this? Do I appreciate this about myself? And will I still do this regardless of whether other people say, hey, that's a fantastic job, or they don't say anything, or they say something negative? Because sometimes people won't say anything, and you should be able to find the fulfillment in whatever you're doing regardless of the feedback. I think that is something that requires a lot of confidence. It requires a lot of self-assurance, but it's something worth cultivating. Because if you're always looking for that outside influence, it's going to be tough, because even loved ones can be really harsh on you sometimes, because I think people have this ideal version of you that they have seen, or they want you to live. And even if something is good for you, but it requires some sort of change for you that they can envision, it's hard for them. Later on, they might come around and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is fabulous that you're doing this. But that change, they think, well, how is this going to change things between me and them? Or is this going to be harder on me? I've seen this in couples where if 2 people are overweight, the couple is overweight, and one person wants to make a change and lose weight, the other person will almost drag them down for a period, or be upset with them that they all of a sudden want to eat healthier, or all of a sudden want to make these positive changes, because they're not ready to look in the mirror yet. They're not ready to have their world shook up by somebody that wants to do something good. But later on, they may be happy for you, but they may not. So you have to learn to be your own cheerleader, to be your own. I ask myself this question in a lot of things, that regardless of if nobody says anything, or if people are actually disappointed, am I going to be okay with this? Can I live with this? Am I going to appreciate my own efforts enough where I don't need that outside influence? And if the answer is yes, then I know my answer, then I need to do that. That's me. But if the answer is no, I'm going to need somebody to stand by me and hold my hand and root for me, because I can't do this alone, then I need to really see if this is the right thing for me. Because depending on other people in that way all the time can be really tough. Even loved ones, like people that you're married to, your spouse, your family members. I've had people second guess a lot of things that turned out to be the best opportunities of my life. But at that time, they thought, no, don't do this. Like, we're worried for you, or it's too much. You're not going to be able to handle it. So if that's making sense, then if you know that you can jump in regardless, and you're going to be okay, even the outcome isn't what you expect, that's when you know that's the thing for you. Hi, Tina. I did. I got a haircut today and a color. Thank you so much for noticing. Hi, Archana. And Ritu, hi. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Hi, Maria. Did I miss a few? I think I missed a few comments in the back. I will get you guys later. But those are the, I lost count. There was one more that I missed. I think it's number 7. I did lose count. But number 7, thank you, Tina, so much. Number 7 is less talking and more doing. And this is one where I get a lot of people actually hiring me and asking this question. So let's talk about that. So one of the common coaching things I will get is that how do you deal with family members, in-laws, moms, dads, spouses, like discouraging you when you say something like, hey, I'm about to go do this, or I'm going to save money, I'm going to go lose weight, I'm going to eat healthy, and they're like, no, you know you're not going to do it, or you're not going to be able to do it, or why are you going to do that, that's stupid, or that's just a fad, why do you need to save money, or enjoy your money, you only live once, or whatever those comments are. And my number one question is, why do you need to tell them? What are you looking for? And I think a lot of times people haven't questioned that. They're not sure. So learn to do more. This is one that I shared with you guys in the other video in the live chat, where let your results do the talking, versus like asking for permission before you do something. So for example, if you're gonna go become like dairy-free, gluten-free, vegan tomorrow, if you announce that, people are gonna look at you like, what are you gonna eat, ice? Like, you know those comments, and that's gonna discourage you no matter how strong you think you are. But if you didn't mention it, if you just slowly change your lifestyle, and the people that noticed, but you didn't go announcing it, you didn't post it on Facebook, you didn't tell the whole world, and then all of a sudden you started having positive results and people noticed that, isn't that better than people noticing your negative comments? Making negative comments when you announce it. To me, I rather let that do the talking. Same thing happened with my whole gluten-free, grain-free, dairy-free thing, is that I just in the beginning I started telling people, and then I would get all kinds of like, oh, you're on that, fad again, or what are you trying to disappear? You're already so skinny, those comments. Then I stopped talking about it, zip. I just focused inwards and just worked on myself. And I would ask myself, are you going to do it regardless of what Irfan thinks, or your sister thinks, or your brother thinks, or your family thinks, or your friends? And the answer was yes, because I feel sick if I don't eat this way. Okay, if you're going to eat it that way regardless of what other people say, why do you need to announce it? Why are you asking them? Why are you telling them? They're not cooking for you, right? They're not doing it with you. You have to do it regardless if they approve or not. So just keep it to yourself and just do it, right? And eventually, the people that were interested started coming up and saying, hey, what are you doing? You lost weight or this or that. What do I need to do? That's when you share it. And I'm using this in a food way, but do that with everything. If their comments will not impact your decision, you still need to do it, then don't even mention it. If you're genuinely seeking somebody's advice, that's something different. But then be ready to hear it, because sometimes people will tell you stuff you're not ready to hear, right? Let's see. Jyoti said, hi, Mina. Just joined in. Looks like you are halfway through. We'll catch the replay as well. Love your new haircut. Thank you so much, Jyoti. Yes, we're about halfway in. Thank you so much for joining. Universal Journey says, normally people my age are married with kids, so she says... things like that. I think you're talking about your mom. I think I missed part of the comment, but sometimes loved ones, as well-meaning they are, I did a video on that, how to deal with loved ones criticizing you. I think you may have watched that, if I remember. But people say things all the time. A lot of times I think they don't know that they're saying things that could hurt your feelings. I genuinely do believe that Many times people are just not used to filtering. They're not trying to hurt your feelings. And oftentimes on the other end of it, if we are insecure about something, we think people are criticizing us, even if they're just voicing their opinions. Why do I know this? Because this has happened to me, where I was just generally having a conversation with somebody, and later I found out that they were severely offended by something I said, but I had no intention of offending them. I was merely speaking something about myself. But I did not know that that person is really insecure about certain things in their life, and that my making a comment about my own achievements or something I want to do or something I've done made them sad. So you can't go around filtering yourself that way. So don't expect other people to be able to do it either. I understand that some people are genuinely rude. Some people should genuinely filter what they're saying. They hurt people's feelings, but then there are others that don't mean to. It may just be in your head. I have had this happen several times where I had absolutely no intention of hurting anybody's feeling. I did not even know that that could even hurt somebody's feeling, a statement about myself. But if they were insecure in that thing, it hurted their feelings. So a lot of times, look at yourself. This has happened to me on the reverse end too, where I thought somebody had made a comment against me. And when I really thought about it, I sat down and really thought about it, or if I asked my husband, did he think that that was a rude comment? He would say, well, when you're saying it like that, it does sound rude. But if you think about it, maybe they were just making that statement from their point of view. And sometimes if you look at it, decode it that way, it's true. Sometimes if we are insecure about something or something's been bothering us, other people's comments sting. But I choose to let that be a guide for myself and say, okay, I need to work on this for myself, because regardless if that person meant to hurt my feelings or not, they did, and they don't have that permission. So the fact that I allowed them that permission to hurt my feelings, even if they didn't mean to, means that I need to work on this. So look at yourself. So if you can't control what your mom's saying to you, we can't control what anybody says or does. We can only control our own reaction. If you are insecure about not being married at a certain age, anybody that makes a comment about marriage in general will seem like an attack on you, to you. But if you have consciously, intentionally made that decision and you're okay with it, people could be screaming off the rooftops about marriage and you're going to be like, marriage is just not my thing. I'm not looking at that right now. I'm okay with this. It's not going to bother you. I can honestly and confidently tell you that, because there's things that used to offend me years ago that I hadn't worked on, and now I hear those comments all the time. But because I worked on myself a lot over the last decade, and especially if it's something that I really spent a lot of focus on, those comments don't hurt me because I see them as their mere opinions. I don't see them as any reflection of who I am, my achievements, what I'm doing, because I'm working on me and they're making their comments. Those are two completely different things. So anytime that something ends up pushing your buttons or hurting your feelings, don't look at that person's intentions. Don't look at what they said. Look at you. Focus on inwards. Focus on, why did that hurt my feelings? Am I not comfortable with this? Do I need to work on my self-confidence? Do I need to work on my self-esteem? Because maybe they are just rude people, or maybe they didn't mean anything by it and you're just insecure about that thing. It happens to all of us. We are not all secure in everything. We all have our insecurities. There's things in my life that I'm super secure with, and then there's still a few things that I haven't gotten to yet, that I haven't had the chance to work on. So if somebody made a comment about that, I probably would feel a sting. And maybe they didn't mean anything by it, but because I haven't had the chance to work on that yet, I would feel it. So focus on inwards first. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I so enjoy this time with you guys. Tomorrow's Friday, so of course we have our pajama nights. And I got some new pajamas. If you guys haven't checked out my Mad Men inspired pajama haul, definitely do so. I will be wearing some of those sexy things for you guys tomorrow. I'm so excited about that. Thank you guys so much for all the wonderful feedback about my hair and my color. I'm so excited about it. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys. Bye.